Okay, I'm going to do a review and do a few test stitches on my jeans and leather using this Brother CE1100PRW that I picked up at Walmart. It was sold for $149, so I thought instead of criticizing these inexpensive machines without any personal experience with them, for that I'd pick it up and test it out, and that way when people ask their opinion, my opinion on these kind of machines, I can at least give some honest feedback based off experience. And I see so many people just bashing them because they're cheap Chinese and all those kind of things, and they may be, but anyway, for that price I thought I'd pick one up and do my test on it and kind of see how it compares to some of the other machines. So let me get it unboxed and get some needles installed on it and get it threaded up, and we'll do some tests. Okay, we've got it unboxed now. I've got the bobbin thread in, which is easy and quick, and we've got a size 18 jean needle in it. I wanted to test to make sure it would hold that size, and it did. So now that we know that it'll hold it, let's see how it handles sewing the jeans hem. So again, we're going to start on the inside seam, the thick part. I've used the little pin to keep the foot level, since it has that feature, give it the chance to do what it needs to do. And the bobbin system is one of the easy ones where you take it around and cut it off. It's supposed to be self-beating, so we don't have a bobbin tail, so let's see how that works. Okay, here we go. Okay, a couple of details. The tension's set at 8, this goes to 9, which is good, and I've got my stitch length at 3.5, so here we go. Coming up to the next hump, we'll see how it handles that. Let me get my seam folded over. Okay, here we go. I'm going to take it slow here, give it a chance. And it did fine. So here we go. Stops with a needle down, which is a nice feature. Stitch is looking good. Meet right up where I started, and this seems a little bit thicker, so I'm going to have to help it go over it by using the little leveling foot, I guess. It's not wanting to feed it. Feed dog's having trouble evidently, so hand walk it here and see if, there we go. Looks like something below was caught on the feed dog. Okay, this right here is going to be very thick, so let's see how it handles it. Did good. Back stitch. See if it handles it. Yep. Okay, it did good. Looking at this right now, I don't see a thread cutter on it, so it must have one on the side. So that's one thing that's not on the machine. There's there's not a needle up button on it either. The only thing that's on it that I see is the back stitch button, and that's it. So that kind of surprises me a little bit. Okay, let's cut the threads here and have a look at what we've got. Okay, get some of this out of the way. There's our starting and ending point right there on the side seam. Stitch looks good. Stitch on the back side looks okay. Bottom stitch, top stitch. Tension looks good. I don't see anything showing on either side from the bottom side. So the stitch looks good. Side seam is good here. No skip stitches. So yeah, it did good. Let's stick a belt loop under it and just see what it does with an existing belt loop. Belt loops are the toughest, so let's just see if it can handle it at all. Okay, let's do a little zigzag, so that's number 3. Shorten our length. .201. And our width is down to 1 also. That's as narrow as we can go. Now we have bobbin thread that we can hold. So let's just see if it can do anything at all. Here we go. And what I'm going to see here is if it can move. Let me use the leveler here and see if I can help it out a little bit. There we go, now it's moving it a little bit. I'm going to increase my length here and see if it can get it moving. Oops, that was the wrong button. There we go, that's the button I wanted. See if I can get it to feed. It seems to be stuck in the same spot, and what ends up happening is you end up with a big ball of thread on the bottom side in one spot, which is what we've got right there, and it's just not feeding, not advancing the feed dogs enough. Okay, well, it actually sews through the belt loop fine, which means it went through the layers without any problem at all. The feeding is always the toughest part on these. And so you'd probably have to help it out, come up with a plan on helping it out through the feed dogs when it came to the belt loops. But it's got the power to sew through them, so that at least gives you a chance. Okay, let's try some leather. I'm just going to leave the size 18 needle on it, as I know it works with leather fine. And I'm going to use, not my thickest leather, I'm just going to use, a light to medium weight. It's not even medium, probably fairly lightweight leather here. So I've got 4 layers. Let's put it under and see what it does. Yeah, it doesn't like that a whole lot. Tell you what, it's on a zigzag. Let me go back to a straight stitch. Let's stretch the stitch length out to 5. And let's see if it will do that. Yep, obviously not made for leather. Needle even came out of the shaft. Probably didn't have it tightened down enough. Okay, let me give it a chance with a leather needle. So let me change the needle to a leather needle, and we'll test it again. So I'll be right back. Okay, I've got the leather needle in now, and we're going to give it another chance and see if it can sew the leather. The leather needles are a little bit sharper, so it should help it, but let's see what happens. It's even sewing a stitch. You lessen the tension on it. Give it a chance with that. Bring the needle up. Let me move the needle over to the center position. See if that helps it. Right there is center. That's weird. I've never had a sewing machine do that before. It's almost like it's pulling the little plate up. Okay, well, it sewed 4 out of the 8 stitches roughly. So we've got skip, 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 skip. So it's having trouble. It's acting like it's pulling the bobbin plate up or something when it's going through there. So it's definitely not made for doing leather. That much will test to tell us that much at least. So that's 4 layers. Let me try 2 layers and let's see, because 4 layers is about the max you would sew, but maybe we can do 2. This little piece is 2 layers, so let me get rid of some thread on here. Okay, here we go. Okay, that's 2 layers. Seem to have handled that. Let's have a look at the stitch, see what we've got. It's kind of hard to see. The stitch was short, so let me do a little bit longer stitch so you can see it. Give me just a second to get some thread off here. Now that we know it has a chance to sew it, I'm going to cut a new piece here so we can see it. And we're going to turn it over back to back. Let's see how it looks if we do some top stitching on it. I'm going to increase my stitch length to 5. Tension seems to work good on the machine. It stays nice and tight compared to some machines I've seen, so that's good. Feet's nice and straight. There we go. Looks like a nice stitch. It's the front side. There's the back side. I could tighten it just a little bit, so let me do one more test, and that was only on 6. I'm going to take the tension up to 8, which should help it form a better stitch on the back side. Okay, we'll come inside a little bit more this time. Okay, here we go. Okay, yeah, that's better. Okay, there's our top stitch right there. And what's better this time is our stitch is buried where it wasn't quite buried in that first time. So setting it on 8, it does good on 2 layers of leather. 4 layers is where it struggled, and this is not real heavy, dense leather. This kind of leather is much more dense, and tell you what, let's go ahead and try this and just see what it does. This is about twice as thick as the other is. Alright, here we go. Seems to be doing fine. Okay, there's our top stitch. Bottom stitch looks nice and tight. So even on this thicker layer, thicker leather, did fine. So that seems to be good. It just seems that if you start adding more than 2 layers and maybe even a thicker leather, you may have a problem with it. Leather gets all over everything. But anyway, okay. Well, again, that concludes the test. This is the Brother CE1100PRW. In other words, Project Runaway. It's got 99 stitches, so seems to be heavy on the stitches, but missing the thread cutter and the needle up and down memory. Based on that, you may want to look at one of the other ones that has fewer stitches. I think they got a 60 stitch one that trades off the stitches for that feature. So I guess it depends on if you want the additional stitches or those convenience features. I'd probably go for the convenience features, but one of the things I talked to Brother about is basically all these Project Runway machines are using, the ones that are under $200 anyway, are using the same drive system. So the things you see me sewing here, power-wise and everything, is pretty much going to be the same. And all these machines that you can get at, Walmart, Target, the big box stores, and off the shelf. So that's pretty much it. So hopefully the demonstration will help you understand these machines. I know it'll give me a better way to have an opinion on maybe what one of these machines will and want to do. These machines are extremely light, so I may end up taking it apart and seeing what the internals are made of, but usually when they're this light, I mean, I can pick it up with my hand like that. When they're this light, usually the internal parts are plastic. So, but anyway, if I disassemble it, I'll actually capture a video of it also. So anyway, hope you enjoyed it.